XQ sandwich, still the number one sandwich across the franchise. The French dip sandwich, I think, is going to challenge for that number one spot. The double club, the single club, you can pair those up with a great sandwich, salad, California-style pizzas, all available for catering from a group of 5 to 500, a small office party to a large corporate event. Joel Bromfield, they've done a great job for my family. They'll do a great job for you. 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. Nuke's Eatery, close enough that you can smell the championships. And I'm a go down swinging. If I go down, if I go down swinging. If I go down, if I go down swinging. If I go down. We are 61 days away. Brought to you by Alabama Credit Union, alabamacu.com. Checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle. 61 days away. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. 1.99 APR for 36 if you're looking for a Camry. Got a great deal, 2.9% APR for 36. If you're looking for a RAV4, 2.99 APR for 36. And you can go for the 48. It's just a little bit more. The Highlander, 3.99. Some great interest savings specials right now. Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Right now we're going to 1992 national champion winning fullback at the University of Alabama, Martin Hughes. I hope all is well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
All is well, Ryan. Glad to be in with you, sir.
Hey, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you make Texas feel welcome this morning on your show?
No, I dogged them. I said that Ewers is overrated, and I stole your line. I said maybe not quite this bad, but they are Alabama proud and Vanderbilt's trophy case. So
yeah.
I mean, you think about it, you would think that Texas has been a dominant program for years on end. Yeah, but they really, what, they got a couple national championships.
Well, yeah, they've won one national title in 53 years.
Yeah. So, then that doesn't, don't get me wrong. I do think Quinn Ewers is overrated. I think he's living in high and flying high on 2 games against Alabama, and because that's been probably his best 2 games of his career, even though he got hurt the first time. And then the other part is you have a coach who knew the defensive system, knew the coach's ways, and monopolized on it. And kudos to Sark for being smart enough to do that. I think that he and Heupel both kind of benefited from each other in that capacity, but I don't think that travels into 2024 because of what we'll be doing differently on defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, I read the Texas, the quote from Chris Lowe, and this is one that's got a little bit of mileage throughout the country, and it's Chris Del Conte is the AD there at Texas, and he says, on the field, he told his athletes, quote, whoever you play, it's their Super Bowl. It's the power of the brand, and that won't be changing in the SEC, end quote.
Oh. Okay. If he thinks that, and like I said, don't get me wrong, Texas had a great year last year, but they got a lot to replace. They got, their defensive front was disruptive, and not only did they lose the disruptors, they also lost what I believe to be the best defensive line coach in the country. And how they'll respond to that is yet to be seen. Kudos. Welcome, Texas. They do have a winning record against us.
They do.
So
They do.
I guess they can hold their head high on that. But the other side of it is Sark gets it. Now, Sark is trying to, steal some words, talking about the standard, and we have to play to the standard. but he said from the beginning that they're going to have to get more depth because he recognizes you have to play um, what was their best games or biggest games. You have to play those every week, just about in the SEC, and depth and attrition will wear on you. And so he said that's the biggest thing they had to do was to get depth. Well, maybe they've done that, and we'll see moving forward.
Yeah, right now we're talking with Martin Houston. And Martin, we were just talking about this a couple of minutes ago. Let's just assume this month, we don't know the official start day of practice, but it will be a little bit earlier because the games are a little bit earlier because of the calendar, the way that it falls.
Mm-hmm.
So end of July, end of the first couple of days of August. But, you know, I often think about this every year, and I know it's been eliminated for a few years. As a former player, eliminating two-a-days and how much that does to prepare you for the upcoming season. It's part of it, but two-a-days are long gone.
Yeah, there's a lot to get in. I think from the mental side of it, I think they've compensated for that. The players are here a lot more. More of the players are here. They are
Great point.
consistently. So I think from the mental side, they probably have compensated from that side of it. To me, bigger than the two-a-days, Ryan, is just the lack of physicality that happens, to play the game and practices and different things. And some people believe that you know, you can cut that part out of it and save injuries, extend bodies, etc. But to me, if you watch the game, you can definitely see the impact of the caliber of tackling that happens today versus what used to happen. And I'm not talking about just the big hits. I'm talking about just wrapping up and being able to take a player to the ground.
Yeah, that's one of the topics. But, you know, as we open up camp later this month, like I said, we're just assuming that it'll be right there, end of this month, first couple of days of August. What is that number one question you think around this Alabama football team? What do you think is that number one question?
Well, I really haven't thought about. Well, I do have something. I guess it would be the tackle positions on offense.
Oh yeah, both sides.
Yeah. I mean,
especially when Coach Cap told me that Elijah Pritchett is getting work at left tackle, but he's getting a lot of the first string reps.
Yeah, and so and you would expect that, Ryan. That's a Elijah Pritchett getting reps is the right thing, and you would expect that at this point because there's nothing that Caden Proctor has done to earn that position. He don't get credit for what he did last year. He left his team, so he's new to Tuscaloosa, and so he should not be just put in as a starter because he's back on the team. And I think had you done that, you could lose your entire team, because it wouldn't mean anything that they stayed. So I think that's why you see Pritchett getting those. Do I think that he's going to be the starter when the season rolls around? I don't. Not at left tackle. If what they're saying about Proctor's true, his focus, his commitment, his work ethic, and the fact that you hope he takes that jump by losing a little weight, getting a little better coaching, and having better play calling and scheming and blocking around him, you would expect him to overtake Pritchett. The question now becomes: is Pritchett getting second team reps at right tackle or third team reps at right tackle? Because you have Wilkin and McVay battling it out over there. And if you're going to get your best five out there, does a guy you projected as a left tackle move over to your right tackle and become your fifth best lineman?
You and I talk about this a lot at lunch. Skill position, running backs. That's an upgrade. This is an upgrade compared to where we've been the last couple of years. You've got to go back to probably 2020 when Alabama was probably very consistent at running back position with Najee Harris. Wide receivers, I think that's an upgrade. I think Alabama's receivers are going to be very solid. Quarterback, certainly Jalen Milroe in this system is going to be much better than Jalen Milroe in Tommy Reese's system. The offensive line's the only part of the question, and you said it, it's the tackles. Can Alabama get to be where, that's a strength? Not a strength, but just not a weakness.
Yeah, and I said this morning on my show, Ryan, I was comparing the three quarterbacks back, Ewers and Milroe, and I said Milroe last year played with the worst offensive line under the Nick Saban era, the worst wide receiver core in the Nick Saban era, barring potentially some of the first couple when he first got here, the worst running back room, and the worst offensive coordinator. And we still got to the semifinals. I think you can take every offensive position and say we are equal to or better this year. Even the offensive line will be better, Ryan. The question is because the middle of that offensive line to me is going to be so much better. You would expect them to take that next step as well, and that the offensive line will be better.
This is a chance to make some money. I think LT Overton's a guy that I think a lot of people are overlooking. When you look in the middle, Deontay Lawson, Jihad Campbell return as starters, Malachi Moore, Keon Sabb, a dynamic player for the Big Ten coming down from the state of Michigan. You look, really the big question is cornerback. And Jackson can step in there? Okay, you got that solved. Who's the other corner? Defense maybe is a role that we're underplaying, and I know we go back to the A-Day game, but that's not the defense that we're going to see against Western Kentucky coming up in 61 days.
Ryan, I would tell you, if we had came out of that game and the offense didn't look good, would you have been disappointed?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
So we would have been disappointed had the defense dominated the offense, right? And even though both teams, both sides of the ball didn't necessarily go deep into their playbook, Ryan, defense uses their playbook to disrupt the offense. If you execute on offense, you can run just about any play and still look like you're doing what you need to do. Defensively, you have to be able to do your blitzes and your swing. I mean, your stunning and twisting and all of that, because that's what creates the havoc in the moving and the angles. Well, none of that happened in that game for the defense, right? But you saw them as they saw what the offense was doing, because the playbook was kind of plain. What happened? Defense got better and better as the day went along. They won't they'll be able to adjust and do a lot more things. So I was not worried about the defense because I saw playmakers at every level when you watch them, and that's what excites me is, can you be good at every level? Yeah, we have a question at one of the corners, Ryan, but the good news is, I've always said it, awesome defensive front, a chaotic defensive front, a havoc wreaking defensive front, pressure generating front makes cornerbacks that are average, good, great, and great Hall of Famers or All Americans.
And Martin, so I mean, there's just so many different things that we talk about, and I'm gonna add this to one of our callers. I thought he brought up a really, really good point with Nick Saban's new salary coming in and whatever consultant role or analyst. But now hold on, if analysts are allowed to coach now,
but
just a thought. But I mean, you think about the value, okay? And one of the guys said, okay, he's got a role with ESPN. Part of that role is going to be breaking down film and studying opponents. Mm-hmm. How valuable will that be for Nick Saban? Just another set of eyeballs on the football field.
Do you think that he'll be able to you think that any of that was in his agreement, that he would not be able uh, to utilize what he garners from doing his job to assist Alabama?
You
Because
think
you
it would
know that,
interfere?
huh?
You think on the other side of this? Okay, hold on. This
No,
is something to think
I'm
about.
saying that. Do you think that ESPN would have limited or put some kind of clause in on him that prevents him from assisting the University of Alabama in any kind of way, um, as far
I
as
mean, he's Nick Saban. If I was him, I'd go tell him to pound sand.
well, the,
That's always been the big question: is some little old bureaucrat up in ESPN is going to tell, like, Nick Saban's he's been accustomed to being in charge.
right.
Is he going to take this little weasel up in Bristol trying to whisper in his ear, "Don't say this, say this, don't say this"? Are you kidding? Oh,
Well, I don't think they could get away with that unless that has always been their policy with every coach they've ever had, right? Because Nick Saban isn't the first coach to do this. Um, he's just the greatest to do it, and he's one of the first ones where the incoming coach said, "Hey, we want you here. We want to hear your input and advice." So they probably didn't have anything in place because it's never really been a concern. And having Nick Saban break down film, like I enjoyed him calling or analyzing the draft. Saw a different side of him, but you got to peep into just what he looks at when he's watching a young man play.
that's going to be the big topic that we'll dive into. I mean, and I was sharing some folks earlier. When you look at the month of June, been off the charts. I mean, just the amount of Martin. You've been in radio for a long time. I've never covered a June that was just that busy. When you
Yeah,
look at the month of June.
yeah, it's crazy, and thanks to the way it ended, I was able to pick right back up on my show this morning because I was off air. I think you may have been on air when the big cornerback, literally the first 5-star, that was a 5-star when he committed, Dejon Lee. I was able to even talk about that. So it's still feeding even into July. And I don't see that stopping. I mean, I see the addition of Texas and Oklahoma. What's gonna be, the process of the SEC media days with
Two
so
weeks from
many new,
today. Two
huh?
weeks from today. 2 weeks from today. Media days will start out in Dallas.
Which is crazy. That seems like we just got through, but yeah. And so 2 weeks from now, Ryan, we're going to be talking about all this. So if we're going to have a lull this summer, we have 2 weeks, uh, really, because we've always said the unofficial start of the season is once you have them go over to Atlanta in SEC media days, and now that's only 2 weeks away, and then the start of the season can't be much more than 2 weeks after that as far as the actual practice.
I mean, I think at this point, when you get to media days, so like you said, we got 2 weeks here, but the content will begin to fly. And I mean, I know we've kind of milked this Texas thing, and a lot of people want to chime in because of that arrogance. But I like the Oklahoma fit. I just don't like the Texas fit.
Why? That's interesting.
I think Oklahoma brings a humble attitude, and Texas does not. It's
Okay.
like
I see what you're saying.
it's almost like when you look at Oklahoma, it's like, we're glad to be here. Thank you. Appreciate the hospitality. You feature Texas people, and it's this arrogance it's like it's like being in a neighborhood. You destroy your neighborhood and then you move to another neighborhood. Are you going to continue the same mannerisms? Because Texas has destroyed every conference they've ever been a part of.
And that's where I would say that probably where that's coming from is because of what Texas did with the entirety of having their own network. And They've not really ever been a team player. In the strength of
Great
the
point.
SEC, uh, the reality of it is the SEC has become the dominant football conference and parlayed that into a very competitive, if not dominant, basketball conference and baseball conference and gymnastics and softball is because of the partnership in football and the teamwork that Sly put in place and Sankey has continued. I don't know that Texas is used to playing with their own ball, and when they get upset, they go home and they take their ball. So that will be interesting to see how they respond when they don't get their way because they're having to compete against the likes of Alabama and Georgia uh, for the top dog.
Yeah, but remember, they're everybody's Super Bowl. We just don't know it. So that's
That is
like I said.
hilarious.
I'll send you the quote. I mean, it
That
literally. I mean, he gave Chris Lowe the quote on the field. Whoever he told his athletes, whoever you play, it's their Super Bowl. It's the power of the brand, and that won't be changing in the SEC. End quote.
Well, I give him credit for trying to pump up his team and his, organization. So kudos to him. But that will be quickly in some sports. I'm gonna be careful.
Well,
maybe,
swimming and diving, we better watch out.
maybe,
But I mean, Super
maybe.
Bowl. If you're saying Super Bowl, you're talking about football, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is like in the other sports, Texas and Oklahoma will come in swinging a big stick. Especially, I feel bad for softball, but maybe it'll raise the bar. Let me ask you this: Texas sitting at like 19, I think, in recruiting, and Oklahoma is 6. Will we see a bump in their recruiting just because they're now officially a part of the SEC, or you think they've already been able to take advantage of the SEC brand?
Say it again now. I'm sorry.
Like Texas is sitting at 19 right now, I think, and Oklahoma is, I think, number 6 in recruiting. Do you think they've already got the SEC bump in recruiting in terms of, when they walk into a kid's house now and saying they're part of the SEC, or do you think they're gonna get a bump, meaning that they'll be in on even more kids now that it's official?
I mean, they're going to get a bump, but I mean, they're already buying everybody as it is. I mean, and the part is the one that's kind of crazy is how you got a Lamborghini on a recruiting visit. Okay, you're not driving the Lamborghini. There's not enough insurance in the world to let a recruit drive a Lamborghini. Okay, there's just not. But you can set in it and rev it up, and that's supposed to help you. I mean, Martin, think about if I don't even know the sports car back then. Okay, but let's say if I would have put you in a
Trans
sports car, Trans Am. All right, so I put you in a Trans Am, which by the way was a beautiful vehicle, man. That thing was
Yeah.
gorgeous. Oh, I mean it was. I mean, as you said, man, that was okay. But if I put you in a Trans Am and I said, all right, Martin, you can't drive this, but I just want you to sit on it, make you a couple of I don't even know. Well, there was no internet, but you want to make you a couple of photos to hang in your scrapbook or something. Would that have got you excited? I mean,
no, not at
I mean,
all.
literally.
Not at all.
I just I don't know if that's a selling point. Hey, we would show you the trophy cabinet, but let's just show you the Lamborghini. We're gonna let you sit in it, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I don't. I mean, I'm excited that they're here, Ryan, because I think we're going to get to see a lot of great football. I think that they push several teams down in the pecking order. Um, that it'll be interesting to see where they settle once they settle into the conference. Uh, as far as Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Texas, LSU, Oklahoma. Where what I mean? Like, where will they be top 5? Will they be top 4? Will they be middle of the pack when it's all said and done? Because it is different, Ryan, when you have to play SEC, everybody talks about the off weeks. Well, most other conferences off weeks are they're regular weeks. So I mean, their regular weeks are off weeks compared to the SEC. And will these guys be ready to handle that for 12, 13, 15, 16, 17 games? And I don't know. I don't know.
Martin Houston, promote Harvest Church, please.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, love to have you come out and join us on a Sunday morning. We have a small group Bible study time at 9 a.m. Come out and join me. I'm doing a journey through Exodus, Ryan, and we have been so in depth that we have been on Genesis and Exodus now for 2 years. So that that lets you know. Yeah, so it's so much there. The word is alive, man. But then we have worship and the word at 10. And our motto at Harvest Church is love God and love people. And we believe that we do that better than anyone. And we hope every church feels the same way. We love to have you come join us on a Sunday morning worship and word at 10 a.m. Harvest Church located out in Coker, right out there before you get to the Coker Mall or Dollar General up on the hill.
Did you say Coker Mall?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds sophisticated, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying. I mean, yeah.
I live right there. Okay,
yeah, it's the Coker Mall. Yeah, that's what I've always called it. I always tell people, just if you pass the Coker Mall, turn around and look, you just passed our church. So we got a big blue sign that says Harvest Church, love God, love people. But yeah, man, we love to have people come. We have nursery and children's ministry each and every night. And hey, on Wednesday, food. We feed on Wednesdays, donations accepted, but no cost for the meal. Come out, and that starts at 6, and the service time starts at 6:30.
Hey, Martin, appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your day.
Appreciate you, Ryan. Roll Tide.
Oh, hey, whoa, Martin.
Yes.
Martin's gone.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Butterfinger bread pudding this week at Southern Ale House. By the way, we gotta put that in there somehow.
Yeah, I saw the picture, man. Yes.
One to go, and one there.
That's right.
That's the plan.
Absolutely.
See you, Martin. Appreciate you, man.
All right, appreciate you. Roll Tide.
Hey, right back to you. It is Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard, 1530 McFarland Boulevard, Philly cheesesteak, ribeye steak sandwich.